Go ahead. Yeah. Thank you.
So we are going to present our solution implementing API test automation mobile in a diverse farm with Grafana. Okay, guys. So let's start. So first of all, who is C&A? We are a company from Holland, and we were founded in 1841. Okay, and we were founded by Clemens August, which gave the name for our brand C&A. Um, and then in 1860 we opened the first store in the world. Okay. Uh, After that, in 1976, we opened the first store. Sorry, there is a music in the back. Hello? Sorry, just a second, guys. There is a music on the back. Uh, Sorry about that. In 1976, we opened the first store in Brazil. Okay. And then in 2019, we went on the market. So anyone can buy our stocks, and we started our IPO here in Brazil. So we are open to the market. And nowadays we are the C&A Fashion Tech, which provides retail fashion clothing products to Brazil. And we also are we also provide financial services to the market, for example, credit card, insurance, and so on. Okay. So over the last 5 years and maybe more, researches and benchmarks, they are saying that the future of test automation, um, it will be, and it's already on the future. We are on the future, right? It will be API automation and mobile testing. And regarding this, great part of our automation on the companies, we are focusing more nowadays on mobile and API test automation. UI have their contribution, but as time goes by, the UI tests are less important than API and mobile testing, and we are going to explain more in the next few slides. But nowadays, a critical success factor for IT products are API and mobile testing. Okay, so even for us, C&A, which has a very high tech here implemented and high tech solutions, even for a retail clothing fashion, it's not so usual in the market because most of the companies, they are based on IT specializations, but we are not a consulting enterprise. We are a clothing and fashion and financial services uh, enterprise. Our challenges also has not changed over the years. So uh, we also have and still have problems like test environment setup. We have a huge amount of script maintenance by our teams. We also have um, um, lots of manual testing, and most of the time we are based on test failure analysis. So we are not different from any other company. We have our IT department, and and besides, we have a very powerful tools here working for us. On the other hand, we also face the same problems that most of the audience also has in their IT projects. Okay, so our problems are the same over the years, but we somehow are managing to overcome them. Okay, so researchers, like I said before, uh, say that API testing nowadays, they are not so important on the companies, right? So the testing reality here is regarding that API testing is not so important. So teams are focusing only 3% of their effort on API testing, okay? And we are adding more effort on UI testing. So the opposite test pyramid says that we should focus more on the API testing, which would be like 45%. And this is which we are going to explain more here during the presentation. But this is a reality for C&A because we have very few UI test automation up and running nowadays, and most of our scripts test automation, they are based on API testing. So we are already on this environment, which we put our teams to create and maintain test scripts on API as most updated as possible. Okay, so API and mobile testing, they are no longer in the past or an option nowadays, but a reality for Agile and DevOps. So to deliver projects with more quality and with more accurate quality, we need to focus more on API testing. But API testing isolated uh, is not an option anymore, because you cannot only do test automation on API. You have to do more, because APIs are changing over time, and how to manage and how to consider these changes over time. So we uh, are talking here about a special ingredient to enhance our test automations, which is observability. So we observe, we monitor, we analyze, and we act. And to create our observability integrated with our API solution here, we use it Grafana, which is a very known solution on the market. And to create all of that, we also added such solutions here, like SQL Server, Robot Framework, Flask, Perfecto Mobile, Docker, Azure Pipelines, Sensidia, which is our API platform, OpenShift, and Python. So all of these technologies supporting our complex and unique solution, together with the powerful of Grafana dashboards, we created and implemented an innovative and modern API and mobile test solution to enhance our observability features. And we are now, we already implemented this, and it's up and running here in C&A. And what we did is very we created and developed a very complex solution here. And as far as we researched before, and as far we can know, there is no solution yet on the market. So that made us very challengeful, because we created this from scratch, and all of this was created by our QA team. So no developers from the dev team was involved. To explain more here, let's start our explanation with our test architecture in Grafana. Okay, so the QA here, the test automator, it can start with a schedule, okay, script, or manual trigger as well. So we have these both solutions to start our pipeline. Usually we have this scheduled 2 times a week, but any QA on our team, including the functional team here and the manual team, they can trigger themselves our solution. Okay, so it's available for everyone, not only just one team. So once it's scheduled or triggered manually, so it goes to Azure Pipelines, which controls and gives the management of our scripts here. So once the pipeline is started, we call here the Hobot framework. Okay, and inside Hobot framework, we have all of our scripts running background to make all the magic happen in Grafana. Okay, once we started the Azure pipelines, which is connected to our solution, to our scripts in Hobot framework, it starts on the backstage, on the back end, a communication with our Sensidia API platform here, okay, which is also connected, and it's called from the framework here. So both Hobot framework and our API solution, they communicate themselves all the time. And once they are communicating, we start here what we call our TAOF, our Test Automation Observability Framework. Okay, so as I said before, the API test automation isolated, it's not an option anymore, because we need to know what happens in live with our API in terms of status, in terms of health of the APIs, and we need to know what changes are happening to them during our test execution. Okay, so once the robot framework is running, so we have the Python OpenShift and Flask feeding Grafana. Okay, and here putting more detail, we have the Docker and OpenShift behind scenes here doing all the magic and all the container solution. And inside this container solution, we have a listener, which is listening our scripts over time. And once the manual trigger or the scheduled trigger is put in action, this listener is called, which is connected and linked to our scripts in Python, plus the data collector Flask connecting to our Sensidia API here. Okay, guys. So once the test scripts are running here, we are collecting many data, like the date of the execution, time of execution, status of execution, and many other indicators during the test running. Okay, all this information here we are feeding and communicating with our database SQL server. So every single information that is collected here from our test automation observability framework, is communicated with the database, and we feed all the database, the database with the information that we collect from the APIs. Okay. Once we feed all this information here in database, we call Grafana. So Grafana is going to be communicated with the database, and it's going to read all this information inside the SQL. And once the read is done, we can populate the dashboards here, like you're seeing on the right of the screen. Okay, we're going to see in more detail some of the dashboards that we have. So putting very simple, we have a manual or a scheduled trigger, which calls our robot framework and then connects to our test observability framework solution. Okay. So what we then have as an outcome for all this solution, we have many dashboards, live dashboards that can be accessed from anyone on the team. Okay. Including Scrum Masters, POs, developers. The main goal here is to keep the information public to everyone on the teams. And with all the information that we collect from our test observability framework, represent here, like for example, executions of the day, and then we have pass and fails, time consuming for the API test execution. We have here information from the systems. We have information from the tribes that are running the APIs. We have information from the squads. And as time goes by, this is populated, and even the senior management has this information because they can take actions based on this live API health solutions here. Okay. So for example, here on my right, we have the total number for this tribe, for example, okay, the total number of APIs, the total number of ending points belonging to that APIs, and then the total number of test cases that we are covering over that endpoints and APIs. So for example, here we have a total of more than 6,000 test cases covering the systems that we have here on C&A Fashion Tech. You can also see here more than 900 endpoints and more than 200 APIs covered. Okay, so here on the bottom of the screen, on the middle bottom of the screen, you can also see the changes and the evolution over time. So we can manage how we are growing on the teams, on the tribes that we are looking at it. So, like I said before, it's important to have test automation, which is API and mobile test automation nowadays, which is very basic, but we need to go higher. We need to go to the next level of API and mobile test automation, which is give the team the overview and clear view of the APIs and health on the APIs. So this is such information that the team needs to keep on track on a daily basis. We can live after each run, we can put this on a bigger screen and see results and take actions very quickly. And this is very clear to the team because our solution make us to take decisions very fast. Our maintenance is also reduced because we can see the problems very fast on the dashboards, and then we can also uh, uh, refactor what is needed on our APIs. But the main point here is to have a full and clear view of the health and how the changes are incorporated to the APIs, presenting the quality of these APIs over time in an integrated solution in Grafana dashboards. Okay. Here you can see more examples. So in year 2000, how many executions that we had? Okay. How many test cases we created over time here, month by month, so we can also monitor the performance of the team and see if we have problems of performance, and then we can solve struggle points if the team also is not performing somehow, and then we can take actions very fast and put the problems on place so we can have a product team also working and delivering more and fast. Okay. Here, for example, we have a comparison from the week before with the current week and the month before with the current month. Okay. So as you can see, we also have numbers not only covering and monitoring the APIs during the text execution, but we also have quality indicators here uh, showing and presenting the performance and the growth of our APIs in the systems and what we are delivering for the teams here. Okay. As you can see here, we have more dashboards on API. On the top right here, you can see the squads that we are covering, and more are about to come. And here we are monitoring system by system, which is very important for the senior management. Okay. So the same solution we applied not only for API, but also for mobile testing. And instead of having here the API Syncedia solution, our API management solution, we connected to Perfecto Mobile. And beside Perfecto Mobile, we already have its own architecture. So once we call the same solution, Azure Pipelines, Robot Framework, we go again to our test automation observability framework. Okay. Which we call now not API dashboards, but we have specific mobile dashboards here. So we can see how long it takes to run a full regression testing, for example, 1 hour and 50 minutes, 55 minutes. So we reduced with this solution from 3 days to 1 hour our solution, monitoring all the information that we have on mobile testing. Okay. You can see here device by device how long it's going to take to start and to finish each test execution. And here the top trends devices on the market we are running. Number of test cases automated, covering the test status, how many passed, how many failed, and here scenario by scenario in Android and iOS. So as you can see here, we implemented a unique solution that as far as we know, there is no such implementation before on the market, which give us observability and not only test automation delivering for the teams, but now we have a productive and the proactive actions on the teams, reducing time to fail, reducing problems also in production with the teams. Okay. And what we can add as value or relevance of observability for this, and what we are collecting as an advantage here, uh, not only for QAs but also for senior management. We are experiencing this here. We have senior management following up every week the status of the APIs and mobile testing and their health. So they can take actions with the teams, and then they can also provide feedback on it. We have executions monitoring for QA and prod environments. We have a very clear view and live observability on our API and mobile test executions as well, especially for regressions. Regressions over the years are pain points for QA teams, but now not anymore, because we can fully monitor the test regressions on our observability Grafana solution. Okay, we speed up troubleshooting. Okay, so we have mean time to fail, mean time to act, mean time to resolve. We recover. We have mean time to resolve problems here. We increase productive and team QA morale. This is very important because uh, the team is not only uh, creating tests and maintaining test scripts, but they are taking action on a very advanced dashboards that they created themselves, though, so they are very proud of it. Complete view of metrics, KPIs, and quality indicators, bringing confidence in complex environments. So observability is not for basic or simple environments, it's for complex environments such as C&A customers. We have more than 1 million customers per day. We have such a complex environment here and legacy environment, so we need observability for that. Drives reliability on test automation scripting, contributing to innovative digital transformation, and helps to prevent unnecessary downtime. So, what we experienced here in C&A after we implemented this unique and modern solution, we reduced 100% of manual efforts comparing with the solution that we had before. The team had in the past to fulfill data in the spreadsheets. Our dashboards were presented on the Excel, which is not even professional. So, and we had problems when the teams were performing this because it was manual. So if we have such a solution, and as we implemented uh, from our scripts feeding directly the database from our robot framework, so we have a reduction of 100% of errors. Okay. We have a release of automation team for noble activities, increasing more than 80%. So our team is not anymore only um, uh, doing test automation, but also having observability in their daily activities. Okay, real time check, automation refactoring process improved, observability for all, not only for QA team. This is one of the main purposes of the observability. The data must be public, and everyone needs to have access to take actions, and business agility for decision making. All of this helped and is still helping C&A to be a very high-tech fashion clothing stores here in Brazil. We also have features for the future, which we are already implementing. So we are going to, and it's on track for including performance monitoring. So we already have our center of excellence for performance here in C&A, and then we are going to integrate these executions here in Grafana as well. Integration with Azure test data, linking failed execution to bugs, segregate different test environments, okay, for variables for each pipeline stage, and implementation for web applications. Besides, we have a few test automations for web applications. It's also important to make them we need to make them also clear on the Grafana to have a view of observability. Okay, so guys, this is what I had to present on time, 30 minutes, and I will leave here as we talk our solution up and running here in a video that we recorded. So thank you very